For the papers now, it's time for a look at what is making headlines around the world, and it's really that's concentrating the French papers today. Italy, that decision of the president to decide on whether he accepts Giuseppe Conte as the next prime minister. Dipti, the Italian press, of course, are full of this, aren't they?
That's right, and we'll look at that Libé front page in just a few moments. The Italian papers are full of anticipation, speculation. Will he not accept this decision? For Il Fatto Quotidiano, which is an independent daily, it's more of a foregone conclusion. That's what they allude to in this front page here, sort of black and white. It almost looks like The Godfather, doesn't it? That kind of inspired headline. In their headline is actually a play on words, essentially saying that the coalition have picked the choice of the next prime minister without real regard for what the president thinks. Now, from Libero, which is a right-leaning paper, this novice government is proposing a program that's too red, that's too left-leaning, and they say the president won't accept the proposal. Now, on the other side of the political spectrum, the communist paper Il Manifesto calls Giuseppe Conte possibly the next prime minister of Italy. Well, they call him a creation of Beppe Grillo, who, of course, is the founder of the Five-Star Movement. And,
of course, this nomination has rippling effects, doesn't it, right across Europe? And what are the rest of the European papers saying about it?
Well, we're looking at ABC, which is a Spanish paper, and they say Italy is taking the plunge and really taking a huge risk by appointing, once again, we're seeing these words, political novice, to lead their far-right Eurosceptic platform, while the German paper Der Tagesspiegel is looking more at the economic angle, warning that Italians are putting Europe on high alert, and they evoke in this article here this proposal to impose a basic universal income that could see the Italian debt, which is already high, skyrocket even higher.
And you found a piece as well by the British Foreign Secretary William Hague reacting more generally to the Italian coalition.
Well, he says the Italian coalition will inevitably lead to a big disappointment for Italy. That's what he writes in the Daily Telegraph today. The Italian election, though, he says, shows that the euro is a far bigger threat to Europe than Brexit. Because even if the coalition will ultimately have to toe the line when it comes to policy with Brussels, disappointment and anger over the euro by Italian electors this anger will be directed towards Brussels and Berlin and not the Italian government.
And what about those French papers we mentioned at the top?
What we saw on the front page of Libé there, quite a pessimistic outlook as well. Italy, year zero, that's what the left-leaning paper says on its front page, basically saying in their editorial that after the rise of nationalism and xenophobia in countries like Poland and Hungary, now the future of Europe appears very bleak indeed, with a far-right government in place in Italy. While Le Parisien is going with a cartoon from its cartoonist Ranson, who says it's difficult. Here you see Angela Merkel and Emmanuel Macron dressed as footballers, saying it's hard to make a team, to form a team with the Italians. And you see Luigi Di Maio, the leader of the Five-Star Movement, on the ground, visibly faking his injury there.
The Italians never do that. So on to a different story. Saudi Arabia, where several women's rights protesters have been arrested there.
Well, the kingdom is set to lift a ban on women's right to drive in Saudi Arabia in just about a month's time. But Le Monde reports that last week, several women who had campaigned for that ban to be lifted were arrested for being, among other things, accused of being national traitors. Now, it's what Le Monde calls the paradoxical message to Saudi women from the kingdom: shut up and drive. Now, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has, of course, gone to great lengths to modernize the country by reviving movie theaters and indeed giving women the right to drive. But this appears to be, quote, window dressing for the real repression taking place in the country. That's at least what the editors of the British daily The Guardian say today. They really deplore the treatment of Saudi women who they say are treated as second-class citizens. These women activists who've been arrested by Saudi Arabian authorities, I quote, should be congratulated for taking a stand.
Finally, from Dipti, the British tabloids, not just the tabloids, in fact, this is the Times, still can't stop talking about the royal wedding, can they?
That's right, and it's especially since Buckingham Palace released those pictures of Harry and Meghan's wedding day. This is making the front page of the Times, as you saw there, and on the front page of Metro. Bride and joy, they say in this pun-tastic headline, I guess you could say. But let's end on a marriage, on another looming marriage, another looming British marriage, that of Britain's eternal bachelor, Hugh Grant.
Yeah, he's getting married, isn't he?
He's finally getting hitched at the age of 57, Stuart.
Yeah.
And in fact, when he turned 50, he had told the British tabloid The Daily Mirror that he feared becoming a sad, old, lonely man. Well, he can fear no more because he's now getting married. He's been in a relationship with this woman. Her name is Anna Eberstein. She's a Swedish entrepreneur, a former producer who runs the sock company Ace and Me. To be honest, though, Hugh Grant's bachelor days ended, I think, quite a long time ago because he does have 3 children with her.
He does. He's an odd character, very shy, but very funny when you hear him interviewed. And charismatic. You like him?
We do like him.
OK, all right. Dipti likes him. Dipti Laurent. Oh, France 24 with the paper. She'll be back in a couple of hours' time.